Did you know that Facebook reps and people in Facebook marketing and people on the engineering team on the ad side, they didn't even know that when you run a lead ad, for example, that data does not get passed back to Facebook, that we have to pass it back through Facebook via HubSpot.
How are you? How's your week going?
Good. We're in Vegas making videos, having fun.
Fun.
I'm at this candy sugar factory here today, just so we can hang out for a minute before we go do a magic show.
You know, I've actually been in that exact place in Vegas.
Really?
Yes, because I went to Vegas once super exciting with my sober dad and my little 8-year-old sister, and we went to a Bruno Mars concert. And I remember the next day when we were leaving, we stopped in that shop on our way out to get an Uber to get to the airport. So I actually know where you're saying.
Okay.
Fun. So you've got some of the team out there, I assume?
Yeah. My buddy Jack is out here, and we have other people in all sorts of different places in America.
Cool. Yeah. Cool. Well, really good to chat. So funny that you went to SMU. We've got a few SMU people on the team, and I'm looking to hire some SMU interns for the spring. So I'm good. We love SMU. We love Dallas. Who mentioned your name? AJ Wilcox.
AJ Wilcox. Yeah.
Yeah. So we started chatting with him because we've done a lot in terms of paid marketing in the last few years. Just to give you the 2-minute overview, Meta was absolutely our hero channel. Sounds like in 2022, some changes were made, whether that's iOS or cookies or whatever it is. I don't know. I don't know for Meta, but all of a sudden it stopped bringing in what it used to. We then spent 2 years trying to rebuild that, and we're finally getting it to a point where it's pretty stable, it's working, CPLs are down, that's what we care about most, but it's there. Right. And at the same time have kind of compensated for the Meta loss by adding LinkedIn and Google into our mix. So we do really, really well on Google. We don't really focus on LinkedIn, which is why we talked.
What about YouTube as part of Google or general display?
No, we do pretty general display. So we show up on websites, but no one's focus is display. So can
you log into the ad accounts real quick so we could see what performance was back in 2020?
Yeah. What do you want me to do?
Just go onto your business manager and then hit share screen. If we can just quickly figure out what some of those, we could do an audit if necessary, but let's see if there's something very obvious wrong with the accounts. Yeah. Let's go back to when it was winning. Choose a time period. Let's look at the creatives. Let's look at your cost per lead. Imagine you're running it all through HubSpot.
We're running it all through HubSpot. Do you want me to filter this up here? I'm not the person who messes around in the Meta account, so you'll have to help me a little bit.
Doesn't matter. It's easy.
I'd say our strongest period was this, April through probably November 22.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. And can you...
This is our main prospecting campaign for what it's worth, if that helps you with anything.
Okay, click on that one. So then we'll go down to the ad set and the ads level. Scroll to the right. There's no spend on it. Are you sure that's the one?
Because we might, oh my God, and it might have been different even in 22.
Is it in this account? Well, don't do the campaign filter. Instead, let's just sort by spend. Yeah, no filter there. Scroll to the right and click on amount spent. Click on that. So okay, there we go. So you spent $230 out of $370
on this prospecting campaign.
In the 6-7 months in there. Okay, so let's hang on a second here. 57 per lead. Hang on, 12 million. Wow, this is pretty broad for 4,000 leads. Let's just do some math. In the view, let's look at delivery. So you see where the three move up to where you can sort. Yeah, to the right. Yeah, there we go. Click on that. Scroll down to delivery. And then we're going to go to perform. Yeah, delivery first. We're going to look at some stuff. Then we're going to go look at performance and clicks. Okay, so here you're paying $18 per 1,000 impressions, which is just kind of a general sign of quality score, if you will, right? Are they penalizing you for low engagement or bad targeting, right?
Yep.
Frequency of 5, that's a little high, but it's over a few months, so okay, fine. So frequency of 5 on 18 means your cost per 1,000 accounts is $100. Okay, so scroll to the left a little bit. Okay.
That's all I got.
All right. So now go to change it to performance and click, and $4,060 a lead. Scroll to the right. Is there not another column? Keep going.
I'm sure I can add columns somewhere, right?
Then just keep going to the right. Keep going. Okay. So 48 thousand clicks, $4, $5 a click. So it's about 10% of these turned into leads. And you're happy with the quality of those leads.
We were getting a lot of projects, so it was fine. We had tested some on platform on Meta at the end of this year. That was not good at all and kind of started tanking everything. But overall, quality was fine enough to be bringing in 3 times what it is now. Yep.
Okay.
And
So,
added layer is that we were only running things on Meta at that time. We've now added in LinkedIn, Google, etc.
right, which helps when you have omni-channel, you have multi-touch and all this stuff going
Exactly.
on. Okay. So wait, scroll to right again. What was the CTR on that? Is it half? Okay, less than 0.5%, 0.37, $5 a click. But 1 in 10 of these leads, 1 in 10 of the clicks was a good lead. Okay, now let's go to ads on the right side. Click on ads, and again, we're going to sort by clicks or sort by leads. Either way, it doesn't matter. No, not that one. The columns, to the right. Yeah, yeah. Click on link clicks. Yeah, yeah. Sort descending. Yeah, good. Okay, so you have basically like 7 or 8 that are all kind of similar. $4 a click down, $4 a click. Okay, it's $2 a click. Wow, that guide. Why didn't you put more? Yeah, why didn't you put more against that guide?
Because this is what I'm talking about. This takes people to download a guide, which is great for lead gen, but everything else would take people into our actual landing page flow. They would then create an account, book a call, and have a project.
Oh, right. So
it's our most.
It takes longer. Okay.
Exactly. It's our most top of funnel thing. Like, and we don't really see return from it. We get good leads, but like they don't do anything immediately. So that was probably impatience on our end.
Even though these emails you get may eventually later turn into a lead or whatever.
The other thing we found is that the quality of leads from that and these guides is always much stronger on LinkedIn than it is on Meta. So we get like big companies downloading that through LinkedIn. And absolutely, we love that. Our sales team nurtures them. They will convert at some point, but Meta, not typically highest quality for that specifically. Meta used to be our channel where someone would see our ad, whether we were just spraying everyone with ads or we got really lucky with right place, right time, they'd swipe up, go through our little flow on our landing page, create an account, book a call, boom, we sell it. Right. We're good at converting. That was
But maybe, I mean, we could say that Facebook was lower quality, but we didn't pass it back enough data to tell it we wanted larger accounts. You're saying these were too small, right?
That's true. And the other thing I can tell you is that we had some internal team changes Q3 of 2022 where the marketing manager who was running this stuff, she was pretty good because that's me correlating her performance with numbers being good. But as soon as she left, no one really knew what they were doing. So I would imagine that we were absolutely not doing the right things after that.
Okay. So the click-through rate is almost triple.
Yeah.
And that's why the cost per click is lower.
Makes sense.
So let's see. Let's go to the left. There's a cost per 1,000. Okay. Wow. Interesting. They charge more for their sort by impressions. 18, 12. Still $5 a click on those ones. Let's click on the first 2 or 3 of those ads so I can see what the creative is. You could preview it however you. There's many ways to look at it.
I'm terrible at doing this clearly. Why am I not?
Okay, that's okay. Open an ad preview. Yeah. We'll just do each of them an ad preview.
So they're basically a bunch of static graphic ads. So that's one.
So those ones, yeah, I can see why that might have worked before, but those ads don't. We need to have video now, unfortunately.
Exactly. Right? That's the problem. So we keep running the same graphic ads and it's like no one cares anymore.
Yeah, you can't do that. You already know what the problem is. I kind of
got it. They all look like that.
It was okay. Well, I think we know what the issue is. So
I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. Can I go into more recently and have you just
let's look at the last month. On the right side there, date preset last 30 days.
Oh, there you go.
And then let's go to the ads level's fine. Scroll up. Okay.
Sorry, I switched.
What do we have here? Photo. Video. Oh, what's this video?
This video, it's like it doesn't
change the view to engagement, or we can do the video performance either way.
I'll show you the video. It basically texts like this. It adds text to the things.
But it's just someone drinking the coffee, but there's no sort of story. It's just their
No. It just adds the text on top of the thing. Exactly.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
And then we've got another video somewhere, which obviously isn't even making it to the top. This is like
wow. Look at how much you're paying per click, and look at your CPMs. You see that?
Yep.
50, 98, 63. You're getting hammered. They're telling you. They don't like your ad. Okay,
and that's because Yeah, so this is like influencer saying. So you're saying they don't
Okay.
like our ads because because the CPM is this high.
When the CPM is high, Facebook says, you know what, your ad sucks, but we'll take your money anyway. We're just going to charge you for the inventories.
Interesting. Yep.
So no amount of like if you're this is unfortunately how it is now on Facebook. If your creative sucks, there's no getting around that. We need to have better creative. It's no amount of me coming in here and helping you to like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, 100%.
that's what I suspected what the issue was, but we can obviously see it here.
Cool. That's really helpful. I mean, that's the other thing with us not having someone like you. We can read data, like we know how to.
You don't
do that.
have an ads issue. You have a creative issue. If you have the good creative, then people like me and folks on my team can come in and optimize. But you do not have an optimization problem, if you know what I mean.
So
you know what the problem is.
Yeah, we know what the problem is. Our other thing that we're convinced is a problem is audiences. What can you tell me about that?
Okay, so let's go to the ad set level and let's look at the audiences and let's sort by clicks. You have that one that's 3,000 some, which seems to be almost half of your 8,000 clicks. Okay, marketers above 50 employees.
So this would be a list
this
would be a list that we then created in MetaMatch, I believe, and filtered off specific.
All right, you're probably not using the conversion API, even though HubSpot has a way of passing that data back in.
So this would be our list of VIP quality leads from HubSpot that we then create a lookalike in Meta.
And that's good for targeting, but if you don't pass back via the conversion API, the system
what does that mean?
Optimize.
What does that enable us to do?
So ever since iOS 14, when all this like data got cut off and Apple had their whole thing, everything had to move towards server side data. So Facebook can only work with whatever you give it, right? Or if you don't tell it, it doesn't know. So it knows when there's an impression or a click. It knows if there's a lead, right? Because you're optimizing to leads, but it doesn't know lead quality. But HubSpot knows whether it's a qualified lead. HubSpot knows if there's other, if they booked a call or they became HubSpot knows this. So if you don't pass that back to Facebook, as far as, you're telling Facebook, give me more leads. And they're like, okay. And as far as Facebook knows, everything's going great because you didn't tell it what are good and bad leads. So, but I'm targeting lookalikes or I have this and that.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter if we don't know what
you have to pass the data back. And that's the biggest for B2B lead gen. That's probably something like this is Groundhog Day for me, Alana, because the people will come to me and tell me. I didn't want to like prejudge you, but I sort of suspected what I thought the issue would be. And certainly we can see what's going on. So when Facebook has bad leads, like, no, you didn't tell it which leads were good.
We listen, we have absolutely no ego about this. We want it to work.
Right. So there's some basic things around campaign setup that need to be fixed.
Yep.
So we have to do things with the conversion API. We need
So does that just to be clear, does that mean that like obviously in HubSpot, we know which leads are Meta leads. Are you saying that HubSpot will then tell Meta, hey, we had 100 Meta, 20 of those were good?
HubSpot even has a native integration, so you don't have to build it. You don't need engineering stuff. There's certain things that HubSpot doesn't pass through that we would like to. So we use a tool called Leads Bridge that's designed just to do that. They're a partner of ours, and we've even had to educate Facebook on this issue. People
I did know that because the Meta people are terribly unhelpful whenever you need anything from them. Yes, I did know that.
Well, anyway, and I don't mean just like the account reps or the people that call themselves marketing experts. Those people are not. I'm talking about even at the higher levels within Meta, they don't know that because they're all like different. I know it's like all part of Meta, but it's like many different companies that don't talk to each other. So even when I talk to people at Facebook and I tell them like, we have to pass the data back to you, even though it was a Facebook lead ad. And like, no, they didn't know that. So there's this thing we call digital plumbing, which is all of that stuff to get in place. So we can implement that for you. We can also give you the guide on how to go through it step by step. It's like assembling IKEA furniture. It's not hard. It's tedious, but it's not hard.
Yep.
Tag manager and all the pixels and making sure like all these systems, especially Google ads, LinkedIn ads, all that data passes back. The LinkedIn pixel and the Facebook pixel and the Google pixel, all of them inside the tag manager. The events that are firing appropriately, that's going to be critical. LinkedIn, you don't need it as much because LinkedIn has more workplace targeting. So the iOS 14 change doesn't affect LinkedIn as much, right?
Yep.
But what you're having here, I'm just guessing, based on the lookalikes or trying to target what used to work before iOS 14. The iOS 14 thing hammered your campaigns here. right?
So if you're us, what are you doing next? Better creative, fixing the setup of some of this stuff, including the hubs.
Those are the two things. We need lots and lots of little 1 minute videos. I mean, you could do the influencer thing, but I don't think that's as powerful as like authentic agencies that have actually talked, gone through the process. They had, the story to tell about their pain point. I'm not saying testimonials. I'm saying telling stories of what happened, right?
Yep.
So we can guide you on that. That's not hard, but we want videos in a certain way. They have to start with a hook, and you have, get their attention. You have to look at the view through rates, and we can look at video performance, which is another view. Instead of performance and clicks, we can determine which of these are performing. So yeah, there's all that stuff around the creative, and then the second piece is the data. So those are the two things you have to do, and then from there, it's very easy to figure out what's going on in the ads, right?
Okay.
But if you don't do those two things, it doesn't matter.
We listen, our ideal state is someone who knows what's going on, like you and your team telling us what to do, right? Because we want our ads to perform, but we don't want to be engineering our ads. We don't want to be looking at the CPM, because we believe that like someone who's really good at this geeks out about it and does a really good job and a better job than we would. Cool. So how do you guys work with, I'm understanding a little bit about just what you do generally. How do you work with companies like ours? What does an engagement like that look like? What do we do next? How do we explore?
So there's a lot of things that we could do longer term, retainer oriented and all that. But for you, what you should start with is our digital plumbing package, which is $5,000, and it's one time. Okay. And that will get us all the data, all the tracking, whether it's you or someone else on the team. Maybe you have like people on your data team. I don't know how big your team is, but we document everything and we hand it off to you so that you know what we've set up and how to operate it continuing forward. Because maybe you want to do stuff, I know it's not in the agency space, but maybe you want to do Snapchat or TikTok later or whatever. That setup will help you do that.
I think there's
all your data.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but if you don't, like increasingly, if you don't set up your data, it's always data and creative. That's just like what it is now, because the rest of it is being handled by all the like algorithms and whatever.
Including audiences, it sounds like, because if we give them a fine audience, then we should be training Meta to improve our audiences by telling it who the good and bad leads are, which we're not really doing.
Which is digital plumbing. It's more important. The passing back the conversion signal is more important than the literal targeting of here's how many employees they have and they use Salesforce or they attend these conferences or So I would do that, and that's a logical next step. And then from digital plumbing, when we get the data working, and then as part of it, I'll just throw in a little help on the creative side, so you don't buy a second package with us, but just get that going. So we'll fix the data side, document it for your team. Meanwhile, you get us the creatives, and I'll give you a little feedback here and there as you select these little 1 minute videos, right? And then that will set us up to actually start testing. And then we'll see what happens from there, right? But we should just do that as a starting point.
So two things that would be really, really great. One, I'm sure you have an overview that you typically send about what that is, how it works.
Yep.
Two, our founder's name is George. I'm sure he'd love to meet you if we could do that. He was on call at the same time. And this is why we love SMU people. So
there we go.
Dennis, this is great. I'm just going to tell you, like my 30-second rant, we have yet to find people who are really good at this stuff and understand it well technically. It's really easy for all these demand gen guys to come in and be like, you need to do thought leadership on LinkedIn and build a community and whatever. We're like, yeah, that's great, but help us make the ads work. You know what I mean? So like,
there's not many engineers in this space. That's the issue. There's a bunch of salespeople.
100%. And that's why we don't hire anyone, because we're like, you guys are not.
You need to listen to me. You need to bring this in-house. When you have the data and you have the creatives and all that, there's no room for an agency. I love AJ Wilcox and all these other guys, and they can advise and they're super smart. But increasingly, Meta and Google are making it such that if you're any good, you have to bring it in-house.
But in your experience, are there people that a company, we're a Series A company, but like we'll pay for people that know how to do their job. That's not the issue. In your experience, are there growth marketers, performance marketers, digital marketers, whatever you want to call them, that you can hire in-house that like actually know what's going on these channels?
It's very hard. You have to train them up. And because the people out there who say they're good, they're on Indeed or LinkedIn or whatever, they say they're good. How do you tell? Like only someone like me, I'm an actual mechanic, an actual engineer. You can't BS me. If I'm an auto mechanic and you say you're good at fixing transmissions, I'm going to say, here's the broken transmission, fix it for me. Don't tell me how good you are. Show me you can do it. Right? That's why I ask people to log into the ad account and, we're going to hire you to do Facebook ads. You say you've got 10 years of experience. Great. Log into an account and let me show me what you've done. I'm going to ask you questions about what you've done. Yeah. If you can't pass my quiz, I don't care how many 5-star reviews you have, or how many, what college you went to. I don't care.
Okay, cool. If you can send me, and then my next question was going to be, I assume is it just Meta for you guys? That's kind of what AJ painted you out to be the
We do
Meta
all
guy.
of them.
Okay. And so would you do, if we do this digital plumbing thing, does that cover all of them? Is that just Meta?
It does.
Okay, cool.
It's going to cover your Google and your Meta. It's Facebook as far as I'm concerned, but
yeah.
Call it Meta if you want. But digital plumbing is tracking all the data necessary to the point where it becomes a project for you guys. So maybe there's some things you've not configured properly in HubSpot. I don't know. We're going to come in and take a look.
Okay.
Because if we don't capture that and we can't pass that back to Google and Facebook, then the ad systems can't work on your behalf.
Oh, listen, the worst thing I'll tell you on this entire call is that in all of the paid marketing people that we've had at Brief, not one of them uses HubSpot as a source of truth. They all sit in the ad accounts all day long, all day. They don't actually know what's going on in HubSpot. And so we get on calls, we're like, yeah, guys, but were these leads any good? Or are you just telling us about the CPL? We actually don't care about the CPL, obviously, right? We want good leads that bring us business. Get us those.
The CPL is a diagnostic view. And so we always go to the source of truth. So it's the bank account, it's the CRM, it's like wherever the money is the one that's obviously the one you need to look at. But then if you don't know anything about HubSpot, then, well, what are you going to do? You just, but I got a lot of clicks. Yeah. So my cost per click went down. Okay. That's a diagnostic metric.
Cool. Dennis, thank you so much. This has been my favorite call this week so far, which
thank you.
I hope says something. I take a lot of calls with a lot of people. If you can send me just an overview or whatever you guys typically follow up with, that would be really great. And then let's go from there.
Awesome. I'll send that to you next few minutes. And I'll send you this call too, so you can give it to George, and love to hear whatever George has to say about it as well.
Cool. I'll talk to you soon.